Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak English podcast. I'm David, and I'm really glad you're here with us today.
And I'm Sarah. Thanks for the warm welcome, David. It's always great to be here talking with you and connecting with our amazing listeners.
We know that speaking English quickly and naturally can feel super challenging, especially when your brain freezes mid-sentence.
Yep, and sometimes you do know the words. They're just hiding when you need them most. That can be really frustrating, right?
Absolutely. But the good news is, we're going to help you fix that. Today's episode is packed with tips to unlock fast and smart speaking in English.
We'll show you how to train your brain to think in English using simple strategies that actually work. No stress, no grammar books.
So, if you ever feel stuck when speaking, or wish you could reply instantly in conversations, you're going to love what's coming next.
Get ready, because by the end of this episode, you'll have tools to think faster and speak smarter, with more confidence and less hesitation.
When we talk about thinking fast in English, we're not talking about speaking faster than native speakers or rushing through words. We're talking about building the mental habit of accessing your ideas in English without getting stuck, using familiar structures that flow naturally.
Many learners struggle because they try to form sentences from scratch every time they speak. This slows down the brain and leads to hesitation. The real secret is learning to recognize and use ready-made chunks of language, short, common phrases you can rely on instantly.
This method is called chunk thinking. It trains your brain to stop focusing on each individual word and start focusing on groups of words that often go together. These chunks become mental, shortcuts that help you speak faster and more confidently without stopping to translate or overthink.
Think about how native speakers often start sentences with things like, "I'm not sure if," "to be honest," or "the thing is." These aren't full sentences yet, but they give you momentum. Once you've said the chunk, your brain catches up with the rest of the idea naturally.
What makes chunk thinking so powerful is that it frees up mental space. Instead of using your energy to search for grammar rules or vocabulary, you focus on communication. You stop worrying about perfection and start sounding more natural in the moment.
It's like building a mental library of building blocks. The more chunks you know and feel comfortable with, the faster you can build your thoughts. Over time, this process becomes automatic, and that's when fluency really begins to show up in your daily conversations.
Most people think fluency is just about knowing a lot of words, but that's only part of it. True fluency comes from knowing how to use those words together in patterns that are already familiar to your brain. That's exactly what chunk thinking helps you develop.
And the best part is, you don't need to memorize entire dialogues or long scripts. You only need to focus on useful, real-life expressions that are common in everyday conversation. These are phrases that can be used again and again in different situations.
With regular exposure and practice, your brain starts to expect and predict what comes next in a sentence. That's the magic of chunk thinking. It turns speaking into a smooth process, not a stressful one. And it all starts with recognizing the right patterns.
So when you train yourself to think in phrases rather than individual words, you begin to speak not only faster, but smarter. You learn to express ideas more clearly, with less hesitation, and with far more confidence in how you sound to others.
Let's imagine someone asks you, "What do you think about this idea?" Instead of building a sentence from zero, you use a chunk like, "I think it's a great start," but that chunk alone helps you start your reply quickly and gives you time to organize the rest of your thoughts naturally.
Another example. If someone says, "Can you help me later?" you can instantly respond with a phrase like, "I'd love to, but I have something planned." The chunk, "I'd love to, but," gives you flexibility. It buys you time and makes your speech sound smooth and polite.
Now, let's say you're starting a conversation and feel unsure. Using a chunk like, "to be honest," can help you begin with ease. You might say, "To be honest, I haven't thought much about it." These kinds of expressions give you flow and keep you from freezing.
If someone shares good news with you, you can respond naturally with, "That's awesome. I'm really happy for you." The chunk, "That's awesome," is useful in tons of situations and helps you react quickly without needing to search for something original every time.
In situations where you need to disagree politely, a great chunk is, "I see your point, but," for example, "I see your point, but I think we could try another way." Instead of sounding abrupt or confused, you use a pattern that softens your message and keeps the conversation going.
Let's say you need more time to think. You could say, "Let me think for a second." This is a powerful chunk that gives you space to pause without making the conversation awkward. It fills the silence while showing you're still engaged and thinking clearly.
Sometimes, you just need to express that you don't understand something clearly. Instead of saying, "What?" you could say, "I'm not sure I follow you." That chunk is polite, fluent, and instantly makes you sound more advanced and comfortable in the conversation.
If you want to suggest an idea, try starting with, "How about we," for example, "How about we try it this way instead?" This chunk saves you from struggling with sentence construction. And it's a phrase that native speakers use all the time in natural conversations.
A really versatile chunk for giving opinions is, "in my experience." You can say, "In my experience, it's better to keep things simple." It's clear, confident, and sets up your sentence with a smooth rhythm that helps your brain keep moving forward.
And one of my favorites for keeping the conversation flowing is, "you." Know what I mean? It works at the end of a thought to invite connection. For example, sometimes you just want to relax and not think too much. You know what I mean? It keeps things friendly and fluent.
One of the biggest benefits of chunk thinking is that it reduces the pressure to be perfect. Instead of trying to say everything the right way, you focus on communicating smoothly, and that helps your mind relax while you speak, which naturally improves your fluency over time.
It also saves you a lot of energy. When you already know what expression to start with, like, "I think it's," or, "to be honest," you don't waste time searching for the right structure. You simply plug in your thoughts and move forward with confidence and ease.
Chunk thinking helps you sound more natural and less robotic. Learners who try to speak word by word often sound stiff, but using common expressions brings rhythm and emotion to your sentences. That makes you sound more human and more connected to the listener.
Another huge benefit is that you become a better listener. As you grow your awareness of chunks, you'll start recognizing them in real conversations, movies, and podcasts. This makes listening easier, and soon your brain starts predicting what comes next without effort.
This technique also makes you more confident in social settings. When you know you can respond quickly with useful phrases, you stop avoiding conversations. You feel ready to jump in, ask questions, give opinions, and actually enjoy speaking English without anxiety.
It also helps you avoid the fear of making mistakes. Chunks are already grammatically correct and widely used, so you can trust them. Instead of worrying about sentence structure, you focus on what you want to say. That gives you a sense of control and progress.
You also become more expressive. Chunks often include emotional language or polite tones like, "I'd love to," or "it sounds like." These help you show feelings, agree or disagree gently, and create deeper conversations that feel more meaningful and real.
One amazing benefit is that you speak faster without even realizing it. Once these chunks are part of your speaking habits, you no longer stop between words or repeat yourself. Sentences come out more smoothly, and you stay in the flow of the conversation.
Using chunks also improves your vocabulary and context. Instead of learning isolated words, you're learning how they actually work in real life. That means you remember them more easily and you understand their real meaning when you hear them again.
And maybe most importantly, you feel proud of your progress. Every time you use a chunk successfully, it builds your confidence. You feel like you're becoming more fluent, more natural, and more connected with the language. That motivation keeps you moving forward.
The first step is simple. Start noticing chunks. When you watch a video, listen to a podcast, or have a conversation in English, pay close attention to the phrases people use often. Write them down. These are your building blocks for faster, smarter speaking.
Once you collect a few useful chunks, the next step is to practice them out loud. Don't just read them silently, say them with your voice. Repeat them with different emotions, speeds, and intonation. This helps your brain connect the chunk with how it sounds naturally.
Step 3 is to use those chunks in short personal examples. Let's say you learned the chunk, I think it's. Try saying, I think it's a good idea. Then, I think it's too late. Then, I think it's exciting. Make your own sentences to personalize the expression.
After that, practice thinking with the chunks. Walk around your house or sit quietly and describe things using them. Say things like, to be honest, I'm feeling tired, or I'm not sure if this is the best way. Even if no one's listening, you're training your fluency.
Step 5. Record yourself. Use your phone or any recorder and speak for 1 or 2 minutes using the chunks you've learned. Then listen back. Notice which ones sound smooth and which need more work. This is a powerful way to hear your progress and stay motivated.
Another great strategy is shadowing. Choose a video or audio with natural English speech. Play one sentence, pause, and repeat it exactly the same. Same words, rhythm, and tone. This will train your brain to use chunks naturally, just like native-level speakers do.
Step 7 is review. At the end of the week, go back to the chunks you've practiced. Use them again in new contexts. Repetition is key to building strong habits. You don't need to memorize hundreds. Just a few really well-practiced chunks can change your speaking.
You can also challenge yourself in conversations. Try to include 1 or 2 chunks you've practiced when talking with someone. You'll notice how much easier it becomes to start sentences or respond quickly when you've already trained your brain with those phrases.
It's also helpful to organize your chunks by theme, like greetings, opinions, or asking for help. This makes it easier to find and reuse them in real situations. Over time, your brain will connect each theme with useful expressions and help you speak without effort.
And finally, be consistent. Practicing for just 10 minutes a day is enough to make real progress. The more regularly you expose yourself to chunks, speak them, and use them, the more natural they'll become, and the faster your fluency will grow.
One of the most common mistakes is trying to create perfect sentences in your head before speaking. This creates pressure and slows you down. In real conversations, there's no time for perfection. There's only time to respond. Focus on being clear, not flawless.
Another mistake is collecting chunks passively. Just watching videos or reading phrases won't make them stick. You need to actively speak them, practice them in context, and repeat them regularly. Without that, your brain won't be able to use them when it matters.
Many learners also hesitate because they're afraid of sounding unnatural. But sounding fluent doesn't mean sounding like a textbook. It means using language that feels real and conversational. Chunks help you get there, but only if you're willing to take small risks.
A lot of people make the mistake of waiting until they feel ready to speak. The truth is, fluency comes from practice, not from silence. You won't magically feel ready one day. You become ready by using what you know, over and over, even when it feels messy.
Another trap is learning random phrases that aren't useful for your life. You don't need to memorize fancy expressions you'll never use. Focus on chunks that match your real conversations, things you'd actually say at work, with friends, or in daily situations.
It's also a mistake to ignore pronunciation and rhythm. Chunks aren't just about words. They include tone, stress, and flow. If you don't practice how they sound, you'll miss out on the natural rhythm that makes speech fast and smooth. Say them like music.
Learners sometimes panic when they forget a chunk, thinking they've failed. But that's part of the process. If you forget something, just keep going with what you do remember. Fluency is flexible. The goal is connection, not perfection, so keep the conversation alive.
Another mistake is using too many chunks at once. Trying to force 5 new phrases into one conversation can overwhelm you. Start small. Focus on 2 or 3 expressions, use them comfortably, and build up over time. It's better to master a few than memorize many.
Some people avoid speaking because they think their vocabulary is too limited. But even a small vocabulary becomes powerful when you know how to use it in chunks. It's not about how many words you know. It's about how well you use the ones you do know.
And the last mistake? Comparing yourself too much. Your journey is unique. Everyone learns at a different pace, and that's okay. The only thing that matters is progress. Focus on your own practice, your own voice, and your own growth. That's how fluency happens.
All right, here's a challenge for you that's simple, fun, and powerful. Choose 3 chunks from today's episode that you really liked. Write them down and repeat them out loud 10 times, focusing on your tone and rhythm, just like you're having a real conversation.
After you feel comfortable saying them, try using each chunk in 2 different personal examples. For instance, if one chunk is, I think it's important to rest, and I think it's going to be a good day. Make it personal. Make it meaningful to you.
The next step is to take those 3 chunks and record yourself speaking for 1 minute. Use them naturally. It could be like talking to a friend, sharing an idea, or describing your day. Don't worry about mistakes. Just focus on staying in the flow of speaking.
Then listen to your recording and ask yourself, did the chunks sound smooth? Did I feel stuck at any point? Which phrase felt easiest to use? This reflection helps you notice progress and find areas where you can improve with just a little more practice.
Once you've done that, use one of those chunks in a real or imagined conversation today. Whether you're talking to someone or just speaking to yourself, apply it. The more often you use it, the faster your brain turns it into a natural part of your speech.
You can also challenge yourself by writing a short paragraph or journal entry using the same chunks. This helps reinforce the patterns not just in speaking, but also in writing. It's a great way to build confidence and internalize the language deeply.
Don't try to use too many new chunks at once. Keep it simple. If you do this practice every day with just 2 or 3 chunks, by the end of the week, you'll feel much more fluent, and you'll have real evidence of your progress in the way you speak.
And if you want to take it a step further, teach one of your favorite chunks to someone else. Teaching makes the phrase stick in your mind even more. Plus, it helps you become aware of the little details in how it's used and pronounced.
You can even post your favorite chunk in the comments and tell us how you used it today. Sharing your experience motivates others, creates community, and reminds you that you're not learning alone. We're doing this together.
So your challenge is this: pick 3 chunks, say them, use them, and share at least one of them in the comments below. It's simple, it's doable, and it's the kind of small action that leads to big fluency results when you do it consistently.
Today we explored how chunk thinking can completely change the way you speak English. Instead of building sentences word by word, you now have the power to think in patterns that make your speech faster, more fluid, and a lot more natural in real-life situations.
We also showed you how to use those chunks with real examples, so you don't have to guess what sounds right. With just a few high-frequency phrases, you can start speaking with more confidence and reduce the hesitation that holds so many learners back.
You learned the real benefits of using this technique, like saving mental energy, feeling more relaxed, and sounding more natural and expressive. These are the small wins that turn into real fluency when you practice consistently and intentionally.
We gave you a full step-by-step process and even warned you about the most common mistakes. So now there's no excuse to keep freezing up in conversation. You've got everything you need to start speaking faster and smarter starting today.
And we didn't just leave it at theory. We challenged you to take action. Pick your chunks, use them, record yourself, and speak them out loud. These aren't big, difficult steps. They're simple habits that build real fluency when done every single day.
Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay consistent and speak a little more every day. That's how you become confident, fast, and natural in English. One chunk, one sentence, one conversation at a time.
If this episode helped you, let us know in the comments which chunk you're going to use today. And if you made it all the way here, it means you're serious about your progress. Write the word FAST in the comments so we know you're one of the committed learners.
Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Let's keep growing together and building a confident, fluent, and powerful English voice. One conversation at a time.